Welcome to the Book Club, where I take lessons from inspiring and motivating books designed to help you launch your life to the next level. This week we are talking about Viktor Frankl's memoir, Man's Search for Meaning. This is a powerful book that I recommend for everybody because there are so many lessons in them. If you want to have more videos like this and you want to get more life launch lessons, please subscribe to my YouTube page as I'm going to keep these videos coming out, and please share this video with other people so they don't miss out either. Let's get after it. I recently had the pleasure of reading Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and it was one of the most powerful books I have ever read. Throughout this memoir, Frankl goes over his experiences of surviving the Auschwitz concentration camp. Not only does he talk about his experiences through the camp, but he also talks about how he was able to find meaning through that suffering. There are so many lessons in this book, but I want to talk about 3 of them that will help you find meaning in life and even through suffering. This is so useful in our world today because we are all going through something. And if you can find any type of meaning through that suffering, then you will come out a better person. The first lesson I took from Man's Search of Meaning is that you always have the freedom to choose how you respond. One thing that Frankl took away from Auschwitz was that no matter how much they took from him, no matter how poorly they treated him, you always have the freedom to choose how you're going to respond and the freedom to choose your attitude towards a situation. Frankl states, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way." This is so powerful because it gives you an idea that if somebody can find this meaning in Auschwitz, one of the worst places in the history of mankind, then you can find meaning in any suffering that you may be going through yourself. They can take away everything you have in life, but you always have the freedom to choose how you respond to suffering. And when you choose to respond to suffering in a positive way, or a way that you keep believing you'll get through it, that's where you start to find different opportunities in life. For example, if you had just lost your job, this is a terrible thing. But if you accept the freedom to choose how you respond in that situation, you may find a better job, or maybe this is an opportunity to change careers. So choosing to have that freedom, choosing to change your attitudes in the midst of suffering, gives us a chance to find deeper meaning through that suffering. In the end, suffering is a part of life. When we suffer, it makes us appreciate the good times and the good things that we had. So when you're going through something, just remember this, that you have the freedom to choose how you respond. And when you choose to respond in a positive way, you give that suffering meaning. The second lesson I took from Man's Search of Meaning is that you have to create a goal or an aim for the future. During his time in Auschwitz, Frankl would frequently reference a quote by Nietzsche that says, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Frankl would use this quote to help himself have something to aim for in the future that gave him hope of surviving. So for example, he would constantly visualize himself returning to his wife, or visualize himself lecturing at colleges again. When you have something to look forward to in the future, you're more likely to keep pushing on in the present. When you aren't excited about the future, you start to look towards the past, which is something he referenced many prisoners did. And when you look towards the past, you were always thinking about the better days behind you, and it wasn't giving you hope for the future. When you focus too much on the past, it makes the future meaningless. And when you don't have something to live for, you're not going to take care of yourself in the present. So if you're suffering in the present or going through hard times, it is so important to have a strong why for the future so you can keep moving forward. The third lesson I took is that life is constantly testing us. Frankl was able to find meaning in his suffering by realizing that all of this was a test for something greater. In the book, he states, "It did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us." He talks about how you find meaning through taking responsibility for finding those answers that life is asking us. So when life is testing you or giving you a task, you find meaning by being able to bear that burden. Everybody's suffering is unique to themselves, but in that suffering lies unique opportunities to find more meaning. When discussing suffering, Viktor goes on to say, what you've experienced, no power on earth can take from you. This is so powerful because it shows you that your suffering is unique to you, and that experience you get from it can be turned into something that nobody can take from you. So those hard times help you become stronger. If you want to get through hard times, you have to start looking at suffering as an opportunity to get better. Once you start viewing it that way, then you can find meaning and deeper meaning within it. So those are the 3 lessons I took from Man's Search for Meaning. Once again, I highly recommend reading this book because reading it is such a powerful experience. It really puts things into perspective and makes you be very grateful for the life that you have. If you enjoyed these lessons, I hope they helped you out. Please share it with other people. Please subscribe to my YouTube page as I'm going to keep these coming out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.